All right, welcome back to the Let's Rock Reviews podcast. We are we're coming close to the end here, Kurt,
It's
with
wild.
the Foo Fighters. We've been through so many now. We've been through, 24 albums and three concerts. No, just kidding. We've been through the concert. We've been through all the albums except for the last two. Today we got Medicine at Midnight and then the last one of the Foo Fighters, and then we move on. But this is an
Indeed.
exciting one. Let's not overlook Medicine at Midnight and look forward to the end, despite the fact we're getting close to the end here of the Foo Fighters portion of the Let's Rock reviews. Let's not think we're getting to the end of our the show or anything like that. Just the Foo
No.
Fighters. So, Kurt, what do we got here on this one?
Yeah, we've got the 10th studio album, Medicine at Midnight, which was released February 5th, 2021. But it was interesting though, because they actually had this album finished um, almost a year before. But as many of you know, that lived during the year 2020, there was a big
So all of
worldwide
you.
event. Yes. Yeah, they were about to, release the album. They're about to hit the road, and then COVID hit. So that kind of threw a wrench into their plans. But anyway, um, yeah, just going back to the album though, this was something that this is a very unique and different album from their other ones, I would say. Uh, there was an article from where is it? NME. They decided years ago they wanted to do something that sounded fresh. This was the a big or a special year for them because it was their 25th anniversary as a band. Um, but yeah, NPR article. It was called the Saturday Night Party Album. Kyle, was there anything you wanted to add to the album as a whole, just describing the songs and the music style?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to say about this album. Well, there's a few things. First of all, you got to mention the name Greg Kurstin, who
Yeah.
is, which is, I think, where you were going with anything I wanted to add. I think you were trying to have me bring up Greg Kurstin. Um,
Well,
Greg
there's a
Kurstin, of course, more famous for things like Kylie Minogue, Kelly Clarkson, Lily Allen, who I actually am a fan of, and Pink, which isn't usually the same circle you would mention Foo Fighters in, which is, it's an interesting thing. So,
yeah.
when they talk about going fresh, you know, it's about as far away from Foo Fighters. I mean, you think of a song like Break Out, and then you think of a song by someone like Sia, and they're not the same.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
made the interesting choice of going with Greg Kirsten again on this album, and then yeah, I remember reading somewhere that partway through recording, they were like halfway done recording, and Dave Grohl said something about it being freaking weird, like it was just weird.
Yes.
Um, so yeah,
Well, not, I guess just to elaborate on that, this is supposedly where they recorded it, supposedly a haunted house.
yeah, in
Um,
Encinos, Angeles, it was a haunted house. It
yes.
was a house from the 40s, and they tell some interesting stories about the house and what happened while they were recording.
Yeah, and Dave, he was saying he's not, a big like paranormal person, he didn't say he like saw these like, ghosts walking around, while they were recording, but just these weird things that were happening. Um, and what was interesting, according to Ultimate Classic Rock website, he says he had evidence that the house used is haunted, but he's not allowed to reveal it. The owner was trying to sell it, so he was like, had them sign an NDA, I
Yeah,
think.
that's pretty
And
crazy. No, you got
yeah,
to sign an
so
NDA just to record in the house. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on, and I can understand if the guy's trying to sell the house and he doesn't want to be like, oh, it's haunted, or there's this and that, or a family was murdered here a long time ago. So yeah, there's definitely NDAs you got to sign, but it's just interesting, you know.
Yeah. I guess they had a like a Nest Cam, and there was just some like, yeah, again, not something like, distinct people just, walking around, but
There
there
was
are
there was
things.
one quote. He said, "I knew the vibes were definitely off, but the
Yeah.
sound was on." He said we would come back into the studio the next day, and all the guitars would be detuned, or they'd be sitting setted. We'd put on the mixing board. All of them had gone back to zero. The settings we put on the mixing board were all back to zero. We would open up Pro Tools sessions, and tracks would be missing. There would be some tracks that were put on that we didn't put there, but just like weird open mic noises. Nobody playing an instrument or anything like that. Just an open mic recording a room.
Yeah. As you were saying, um, the instruments were out of tune. It reminded me of Will Ferrell, SNL.
I said the guitar was out of tune.
Is he humid in here?
Is it human in here?
Maybe it's just the humidity, Dave. There are things that can explain this. So
So good.
no, anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's just
such a
kind
good
of,
skit, man.
yeah. um, a lot of weird things happening, but anyway, going back to like the music though, Taylor Hawkins, he was telling USA Today, it says it's almost like two records in one. You've got your disco, like dancey groove oriented album, and then the other half is pretty traditional Foo Fighters rock music. So if you don't like the dancey bits, you just fast forward, he says. So it's yeah, it's interesting album.
Yeah.
Um and it is kind of good when bands, I don't know. There's always mixed reviews.
Well, I mean, think back to when we were younger. I remember, and I'll use System of a Down as an example. We would listen to System of a Down together, and like as they got more and more albums, it seems like they kind of tore away from some of their traditional stuff. And I remember, maybe we didn't trash on System of a Down, probably didn't, but there would be other bands we would talk about, like, oh, I like their older stuff better, or I like
yeah.
this and that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, as you grow older, you realize that sometimes you're not selling out. Sometimes your music evolves, or you want to try other things, or artists want to do this or that. And so you can't really fault the band like Foo Fighters, been around now at this point when Medicine at Midnight comes out for 25 years. You're not going to get the same sound every time. They want to do different stuff. I mean, Dave Grohl's you go watch him play, he's a rock star at heart, and he loves his metal music, but at the same time, like, he's gonna try other stuff. He's gonna
Yeah.
express himself however he wants to, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Interesting album. I will say this album, it took me the longest to warm up to this, but over time I did appreciate it more. It might not be super high on anyone's list of favorites, but um it definitely, for me, it at least beats out a few other albums out there. So
I will say there's a lot of songs on this album. I won't say a lot because there's only 9 songs on the album. I don't know what I'm talking about a lot for. There's a few songs on this album that I would put toe to toe with a lot of Foo Fighters songs that are really good.
oh
But
yeah, yeah.
there are some songs on this album I'm like I didn't put a Foo Fighters album on to listen to 80s music. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But at the same time, it's still Dave Grohl singing, and it's still Taylor Hawkins on the drums, at least for this last one. And it's still the Foo Fighters, and it's
Yeah.
still good.
Kind of going back to the haunted house, and then you also mentioned there's only 9 songs on this album that we'll be discussing, and part of me, jokingly saying this, no source on this, but I'm wondering, like, maybe they had like 13 or 14, but the
The
the bad
ghosts
vibes,
erase them.
yeah, or just the bad vibes of the house are like, all right, we got 9. Let's get out of here, guys.
That is one thing I do appreciate about the one of the things I appreciate most about the Foo Fighters is they're not just recording to record. They always are like, "Hey, let's go find some weird random place to record." At least their last 4 or 5 albums, 5 or 6 albums, they've been like, "We're not just going to a studio. We're going to a haunted house. We're going
Yeah.
to travel the United States. We're going to go here, there." It's kind of cool that they're not just trying to record wherever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Mhm.
like that a lot about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see like 20 years from now, it's like the unreleased haunted Foo Fighters album that never was supposed to see the light.
Yes. And it's mysteriously released. They don't
Yeah,
release it. All of a sudden it just
exactly,
appears.
exactly. It's
So
just online. Like I thought that got deleted.
yeah. I'll be
That's
waiting for that.
right, right. Any day now.
Yeah.
Critically though, like it didn't do terrible critically. Um,
Mm.
with a lot of people, it didn't do as well as some of their other albums, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually didn't
seven
look.
7 out of 10, 75 out of hundreds. It's not horrible, but it's not their normal standard of music.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't look into, or I didn't see too much into that stuff, but um yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. This, of course, the last album Taylor Hawkins would be on, uh, which is
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
for
And
sure.
then, so yeah, sad moment. R.I.P.
Sad moment for sure.
Anything else you want to say about the album before we move on to the songs?
No, I think I'm good. We pretty much covered it all. Just it's a dance party record and recorded in a haunted house. That pretty much sums it up right here.
By Greg Kirsten.
Hmm.
Kirsten.
I've heard it both ways.
I've heard it both ways. Good old Greg.
Yeah.
I want to find out like what all albums he's been involved in.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Cool.
Anyway, that's
On
a
to the
different
songs.
conversation for a different day. Making a Fire.
Track one.
Track one, Making a Fire.
I don't know if you were able to see it on YouTube. There's a track by track for this album on the Foo Fighters page where it's Dave, Rami, and Pat, and they just go through each of the songs. And like, each video is only like 2 or 3 minutes, where they just talk about the songs, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But it's the guys who made the songs that talk about the songs.
yeah, they have a little more info than we do, but
A little bit. I mean, we have some
I
good info.
yeah. And a lot of our info is from those videos. So
Yeah.
anyway, what was interesting, this was the Making a Fire, track one. It was the first song on the record that was actually the first song recorded. Oftentimes when bands come into a studio, they just like start recording, and then maybe towards the end, it's like, okay, let's put it on an album, put it in order. But this was just, yeah, they decided this was track one, first song they recorded.
Nice. I
I
like
will,
that.
yeah, I will say it didn't have, I think, when I think of like other Foo Fighters albums, I'm so used to them just coming out like swinging, just like either like fast or heavy or just like really making that impact. So I think that was something that made this album for me a little slower to warm up because it's, a little slower paced. Um, yeah, if they had like track one being one of their other songs, which, we'll get into more details in a little bit, that might have made it a little different for me. So not a bad song, but it's just, yeah,
That's
going
actually a
back to
great
the
point.
theme of being
That's actually a
different.
great point. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Like
It's not as impactful as some of their other first songs on some of their other albums.
yeah, like I mean, I'm first ones that come to mind, it's like Bridge Burning off Wasting Light or The Pretender, those ones just yeah,
Or
fast and
can you
making a
hear
point.
me?
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, Dave's daughter Violet, she's involved with the background vocals. Throughout the song, you hear some na 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 na. However,
Nice.
I don't
No, it was
accurately do the
perfect.
na
I
na.
couldn't even tell the difference. I can't tell the
Right?
difference at all. Spectacular
It it
example
was
of that.
fun. Yeah, it was funny because as they were talking about the song, I think it was Dave. He was just like, you know what? I thought this sounded like, and he was singing the song na 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 na
That
na 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 na. Hey hey,
only makes me think of
goodbye.
Remember the Titans.
Ah, there you go. And what I did also love as the three of them were like singing that song. I don't think they remember either of them remembered who sang that song. Just like I love that we know that song, but we don't know who it is. But yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, yeah. Rolling Stone though they said making a fire is brighter and more optimistic than anything they've ever done. So it may be different, but it is a positive kind of
Yeah, but
uplifting song. So
positive and
or,
uplifting.
or the sound of
Interesting.
it is, yeah.
It's not usually two words you use for the Foo Fighters, positive and uplifting. Although a lot of
Yeah.
their songs are like uplifting.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of
Interesting way to look at that, though.
yeah, when they were for Sonic Highways, when they were doing Congregation, when they were in Nashville, Dave was saying he's like, I like how, in Nashville and Tennessee, a lot of the music, it's, foundations, the church out here, where mine are, mostly based off of misery. So yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
hearing Rolling Stone say that, it's like, oh, look at that. Way to go, Dave.
Way to go, Jay. Way to pull yourself out of that hole there, and finally, 25 years
Yeah,
later, make a happy song. No, just
brighter and more optimistic.
that's funny.
Yeah. Well, that's track one.
Track two, probably my favorite song on this album. I don't know. There's a pretty
Ooh,
close tie between this one and another track, which we will reveal at a later time.
okay.
But Shame, Shame. I like this
Yeah.
song a lot.
Yeah, same. And you know what? Like it again, it's kind of like more slower, nothing fast and heavy. And I think that was something that threw me off. Like if track one was that super fast one, jumping to Shame Shame, I wouldn't have been as like, but yeah, it is a fantastic song. I'd say in my upper half of favorites on this album.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
But it does have that newer instead of like it's definitely a more poppy song than more of a like a traditional Foo Fighters rock song,
Yeah. Yeah,
at least music wise.
it's interesting because I don't feel like it fit. Well, Taylor Hawkins, like what I was mentioning earlier, like it's like some of it's like dancey, poppy album. The other half is like regular Foo Fighters. I feel like
Yeah.
Shame Shame is kind of like I don't know. It doesn't fit exactly in one of those categories. It I don't know. Good song, but just like different. So, the music video. Well, Dave, he talks with USA Today talking about the crazy dreams he has. And um, let's see, where was it? I think in part of the video, there's like a coffin, and he's like, he sees it in an open field. I don't remember all the details, but yeah, in the video, he references old dreams that he's had. This song and another song on the album referencing those old dreams that he's had.
Yeah, that didn't we talk about that last album too? For Concrete and Gold, one of the videos there. He was talking about dreams.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sky is a neighborhood.
Sky, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, he definitely a dreamer.
yeah,
Which often translates into his art, which is actually cool. That's what art is. But
yeah, for
it is
sure.
a interesting video. It's not.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a more serious one as opposed to their older ones where they're like, hey, like trying to make fun of the other music videos.
yeah,
It has more
definitely.
serious undertone.
But don't worry, because there's going to be a music video we discuss later that has the humor in it. So
And
if you
and it's
want,
so good. It's so good.
if you need something a little serious, yeah, shame, shame. That's for you.
All right, Cloud Spotter number 3.
Cloud Spotter. Oh man. So when you were mentioning the album, well, anyway, I there's something about this song that I love. This one definitely fits in with the what was it? The theme of Saturday Night Party album, like disco-y sound one. I don't, knowing all the other songs, I don't know if it gets into my top 10, but I would say it's close. This might be like a runner up just because it's like so different. Like, but it rocks and it makes you want to dance. It's a good
I
one.
like that.
It was, according to the track by track YouTube video, it was their last song they recorded. And Dave was just like, whatever, we're going for disco. Like, we're just like, you know,
We're going
no,
full disco on this.
yeah, no trying to hide it or just sneak it in. It's like, this is what we're doing. And yeah, I guess Dave had been thinking of the riff for years. It's like old school dancey disco thing as he thought it. And it was interesting because Pat comes in. He's like, I thought of it as like the hard rock song on the album. And Dave's like, really? But anyway, it's
That's good.
yeah, but it's fun. Fun song. Not just a good song, but a fun one.
Yeah, for sure.
He also references LL Cool J, the his song Going Back to Cali. So yeah, for those listening, check out LL Cool J Going Back to Cali and then listen to Cloud Spotter. You'll notice some similarities there. It's pretty fun.
It's so funny to say disco too, because when I first listened to the song, I was like, this sounds like an 80s pop song for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
80s pop
Yeah.
song. So, yeah,
Definitely not your standard Foo Fighters, but
for sure.
it's
I love
fun
that
here.
Pat said that too. This made me think of the hard rock song of the album.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
Oh man.
yeah, I could see like if he's just focusing on the guitar, a certain song, parts of the song, it's
Yeah.
like might just have that heavy stuff, but the song
Yeah.
as a whole, it has that disco-y feel.
All right, number 4, Waiting on a War.
Hmm. This song reminded me a lot of But Honestly, like on their album
Yeah,
Echoes,
it's
Silence, Patience, and Grace. Um, starting off just like with the like acoustic sounding guitar and then getting not just heavy, but like the fast and like
yeah.
really just the song gets going. But yeah, I feel like there's often with a lot of their songs, there's like a almost like a I don't want to say it, but almost like there's a template he works with. He's like, maybe I'll do like this type of song and yeah. But I mean, it's a formula that works. So
You know what I think happens is he's like, you know what, I want to do this a little bit slower. And then while he's writing the song, he just
he can't
inadvertently
contain
becomes
himself.
Dave Grohl and he's like, oh yeah, I like this, but what if we did it a little faster? And I
Yeah.
like this, but what if we did it a little bit faster? I
Yeah.
like this, but what if we turned on this pedal and made it a little bit harder? And so it
Right?
goes from something, and he's like, you know what? Let's just go full in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely I don't know about a template or something like that, but yeah, there's definitely no matter what I'm gonna do, Dave said I'm sure he says it at some point, no matter what I'm gonna do, by the end of the song, we're gonna be rocking.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how it starts, we're gonna end rocking it off.
Yeah. Well, and I just thought, like, here we are saying this is an album they've never done before, and then all of a sudden I'm like, he's following a template. It's like I can't make up my mind. But yeah, certain songs, anyway. Um, this song, well, with other songs and like lyrics, he does try to sometimes leave it open to interpretation. Like there may not be an exact meaning, exact story, but this song, it's actually quite literal. Um, let's see, there was an NPR article. Like when he was young, he had this fear of war that might have had something to do with living so close to DC. He said, I always imagined that if there was going to be a war, that we would be the first people to get hit by the missiles. And then he actually, something came up that, him as a dad, his daughter, I think it was Harper, double check that. But yeah, she asked him, Dad, is there going to be a war? And, he was shocked. He wasn't sure. And he said, I immediately realized that she was living under that same sort of hopeless cloud that I lived under when I was her age. But this is 40 years later, and it kind of broke my heart. Kids are supposed to have these imaginative and impressionable, beautiful, formative experiences at this age, not fear of war. And I wrote that song, Waiting on a War, that day. Oh,
Dang.
yeah. Oh, what was kind of funny though, in that interview or in that article, they asked him, "What does she make of the song?" And he responds, "I don't think she likes the Foo Fighters, honestly." Uh, and
uh,
then he adds, "They look at me like I might as well be an electrician or work at a coffee shop." It's like, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'll add that, but just the fact that, he is this like huge rock star and
Mega rock star, and his like daughters are like, yeah, whatever.
yeah.
I imagine a lot of kids feel that way about their parents who are like famous and often will say that. I remember Matt Damon saying something about that with what a voice he did in a movie. And they're like, "Dad,
Uh
is that your voice?" Like the daughter was like, "Dad, is that your voice?" Like almost disappointed that it was him or something. I
nice.
forget what that I forget what movie it was, but I remember a story like that.
That's funny. I,
Yeah.
I think I think a while back it might have been Dave, but someone famous like that you would expect everyone to like worship, but like he would do stuff and the kids would be like, it's like, "Ah, Dad," like just all embarrassed and
Dad, you're embarrassing me.
yeah. I mean, that just comes with being a dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Irregardless, I guess that's just true against across all boards. There's no matter what you do, you're gonna embarrass your kids at some point, right?
Oh yeah. It's just yeah, part of being a dad.
Yep. That's funny though, but you gotta think maybe he's being a little over exaggerated there because they're literally featured on the songs and have played live with him
Yeah,
at
yeah,
some point. So
yeah. Oh,
it's like I don't think they like the Foo Fighters.
it's yeah, it might be exaggerating. No,
That's
I
funny
can
though. No,
tell.
I like the sentiment though there.
Oh yeah. No, I can tell just seeing videos and stuff. They have a good relationship,
Yeah, for
the whole
sure.
family, but yeah. But yeah, it's possible they're just kind of like, oh yeah, that's my dad. So
That's my dad, Dave Grohl.
anyway,
All right, next, Medicine at Midnight, the titular song.
the album title,
Indeed.
yeah, on NME, he says, then there's Medicine at Midnight. That's our David Bowie's Let's
Let's
Dance.
dance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge rock song that I imagine opening every festival from here to Melbourne. Every song is a little bit different, but they all have something that feels fresh, and I like it. Oh, I guess that was for the album. But yeah, for this song, David Bowie's Let's Dance.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that comparison.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
works.
oh yeah. Dave actually asked Omar Hakim. He was the one that played drums on Let's Dance. Um, he was asking him questions of the making of Let's Dance and how simple it seemed. But yeah, it was fun learning about Omar, the guy that drummed for Let's Dance. Like he's a big drummer. He's worked with yeah, David Bowie, Madonna, Journey, Miles Davis, Daft Punk, Mariah Carey. So that's just some of them.
A
He's
pretty wide range there too.
yeah, yeah.
That's got to be a pretty dynamic drummer to cover all that.
Oh yeah, different styles.
That's
Very
great.
cool though.
All right.
Yeah.
Now oh man, this is a good one, dude. And they played
Oh
this.
yeah.
They played this at the show.
Yeah.
Uh No Son of Mine,
This
song
is
number 6. It's a good song too.
oh yeah, it
It's
just rocks.
it's probably, I mean, I said good things about Shame Shame, and maybe it is one of my favorites, but No Son of Mine is definitely my favorite of this album.
Yeah, I think I would say that as well. And I think I might have warmed up to this album more if like No Son of Mine was track one, just like
Right.
really like set the tone of the album. But yeah, I mean,
But like, I mean, it's in you say that, but I think Making a Fire sets the tone for the album because it's more like that than It's No Son of Mine.
more of
So
the yeah,
I
that's
feel like
true.
putting No Son of Mine at number one would be like almost like false advertising, you know?
Yeah, doesn't quite fit the disco
But
Saturday
if it was
night
more of
party.
like a tradition, like an older school Foo Fighters album, definitely should start with No Son of Mine. I agree with that 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, this song Dave mentions just the Motorhead influence. Um,
Nice.
yeah, speaking to the let's see, OK magazine. Yeah, he Dave just talks about his admiration for Lemmy, um, and he yeah straight up said noted Lemmy's influence on this song. He says, No Son of Mine started out with this country swing to it before the band decided for something a bit more aggressive, and it turned into these chunky riffs. And he adds, I wish Lemmy were alive to hear it because he would see how much of an influence he's been to me.
Nice.
Yeah. And I love that, they were able to, you know, develop that bond before Lemmy did pass away. It wasn't just like a distant, like, oh, I like Motorhead. I'm gonna try to sound like them, but they ended up getting close. I mean, he included Lemmy in the White Limo music video. This White Limo being on Wasting Light, that
Yep.
album. So yeah. Yeah, I was happy to hear at least the night we went, No Son of Mine, second song they played,
Yeah. It was like right, yeah, right there in the beginning.
just kept the energy going. Great song though. If you
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
heavy and fast and more along the regular Foo Fighter songs, this is the song to check out.
That's definitely it for this album. For that heavy and the heavy rock song for Medicine at Midnight is definitely No Son of Mine.
Yeah.
All right, Holding Poison.
Holding Poison. Dave in the what were the videos I was what were they called again? Track by track, yeah.
Track by track, yeah.
um Dave was saying like this sounds like a Foo Fighters song.
Nice.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Um,
most Foo Fighters songs sounds like all Foo Fighters songs are Foo Fighters songs. Sound like Foo Fighters songs rather. So
exactly. Yeah. I I'm not the best at describing it, but I love how towards the end, just kind of gets into like the guitar, like heavy guitar, and there's like the background singers are like, la, and just start rocking out some more.
oh, your impressions are great today. La and
Well, after
that's
some of the
good.
ones I did on Concrete and Gold, I was like, I
Yeah,
can't
you had to
stop
keep it
this.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta keep it going for sure.
What was it? Dave, me impersonating Dave, impersonating Paul McCartney. Oh, I forgot the other ones. There are a few on that one. Go back and listen to
Yeah, go back
Concrete
and
and
listen to that
Gold's.
if you haven't yet. It's good. It's good.
Uh,
I mean, the podcast is good. I mean, we talk about a Foo Fighters album somewhere in there, but it's the really the Kurt impressions that you want to go for in that one.
yeah. I'll try to make sure
Oh,
I include some in each episode moving forward.
there you go.
I'm
Good.
kind of bummed I haven't like I don't feel like I've done too many in previous episodes, so we'll change that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Chasing Birds.
Hmm. This was Rami's favorite song.
That
And
makes sense. He
Yeah,
plays the accordion.
yeah. Pat said this was tied for his favorite. I don't
Oh
think
yeah.
I don't think Pat mentioned what his other favorite was though. I can't remember. But yeah, both of them like it. This is a really calm song
Yeah.
and not one of the ones where it's like calm to heavy. It's just yeah.
Calm to calm. Not a
Yeah.
lot of those. You're always like, you listen to a Foo Fighters song, you're like, okay, when's the breakdown? When's the breakdown? When it doesn't come, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's
Yeah.
happening?
This was originally written as an acoustic song, but Dave thought, I don't want an acoustic song on the record.
Yeah.
So it's still like soft and calm, but yeah, everyone joins
And
in
he
playing
and he'll
instruments. So
yeah, he'll do stuff like that, but when he plays it live or something, he'll play it as acoustic.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He does that with
Hmm.
some of his songs where he'll just be like, I didn't want to record it acoustic, but it's definitely made for acoustic and when he plays it acoustic.
Yeah. And this song, we were talking about for Shame Shame music video, it's more serious and everything, but this one gets a little it's more on the humorous side, one of the music videos that, we'll talk about. But it's animated, it's has all these like psychedelic animations, whatever. They're out in the desert. Rami turns into a cactus. There's a hole with teeth that opens up and swallows the band members. I don't know if you noticed this. Well, I don't know if you saw the music video,
Yeah.
but there's a reference that I caught. It was like referencing Everlong when near the end of the video, Pat, when he's like dressed up as like the guy in the dream and he like pulls himself out of it, you find Pat.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think I got to go back and watch that again.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that when I first saw it.
it's like halfway through the video, but yeah, as I saw that, I was like, ooh, Everlong.
I recognize that. I recognize him pulling
Yeah,
himself out of that.
yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
a little toned down going from, No Son of Mine to Chasing Birds. So one you can kind of just chill and relax to while you listen to it.
And then we move on to Love Dies Young, which, it's a good song, but it's so much better just watching the music video.
Oh my goodness.
So we open up a scene on Jason Sudeikis, right? As
uh
the coach. It's Jason
y-
Sudeikis.
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coaching what appears to be five young girls doing synchronized swimming, and they're sitting, and you know he's coaching his little heart out and saying all the stuff a coach would say before stuff, and he, yeah, well, it's Jason Sudeikis, so he's saying some weird stuff too. But then they go out there and instead of the faces of five young women, it is the faces of the band members on the bodies of five young women.
Oh man.
It is definitely not their bodies, which
No.
makes it all the more humorous.
Yeah.
But either way, it is a good song.
Yeah. They try to make it like their faces like they are, in the
Synchronized
pool.
swimmers.
They're smiling, they're singing, they're into it.
I wish we could like watch the videos and listen to the music because that'd be funny just to watch it live on a podcast or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Um
good. The first time I watched this, I was like, this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Just because Jason Sudeikis is so good.
yeah.
That guy cracks me up.
I okay. I think in the track by track videos, one of the songs, no, I don't think he did. Okay. Anyway, Dave says about Love Dies Young, this might be my favorite song on the record. So,
Nice.
yeah. And it was great because like it almost seemed like it was like a joke. Not just the music video, but like the song was like almost like a joke song. He said
Hmm.
we would try something and everyone would just like crack up laughing, and it maybe that was more towards the music video, but like yeah, they were just like, let's just have fun with this. I love that. But it's still like it's not like a joke song that's like Weird Al or anything, but
Yeah.
it has that upbeat feel. You could tell like they're just having fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. Which is super, classic Foo Fighters to just make a joke video.
Yeah. It was not the past the intro, and I think might be like past the first time the chorus plays, but like I kind of got like New Order vibes as I was listening to it. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, like I'm a fan of New Order, so hearing it, I was like, all right, this is good. So yeah, maybe just like a little bit of the guitar. So check that out if you're into like the older New Order music. So
Nice. And that's it. There's
or
only
so
nine
that
nine songs, or so we think.
yeah.
What does that show?
Or
Oh man, I can't think of it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, there you go. Tonight on the Twilight Zone, a rock band, famous for their filming in odd places. A music video lost in time from ghosts.
Oh,
Tonight we hear the song that should have been number 10, but
number 10.
never was.
That was pretty good right there. Your voice on that. You
Oh
you
man.
brought up you brought up my impersonations. That was I that stole the episode right here.
Oh man. So that's it. 9 songs that we know of, and some there's somewhere out there there's a 10th song in that some ghost is gonna release 20 years from now.
You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is I I would encourage everyone to listen to this album just to at least like check out, their disco sound. The fact that it was called, what was it?
David
The
Bowie's.
yeah, that and the Saturday Night Party album. So it's a you at least gotta check it out once.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a good listen too. It's not like you're gonna be disappointed, like, oh, I wasted an hour listening to this album. It's a good listen. There's some good songs. It's not my favorite Foo Fighters album by any stretch, but it's still a great listen. It didn't
Yeah,
it I think a lot of people, just like Concrete and Gold, a lot of people would put these albums towards the bottom of their list, but I'll say the same thing I said last time. They're still Foo Fighters albums, and there's still, you know, some pretty good musicians making this music.
yeah. Yep. So if you want like the disco-y sound feel, check out Cloud Spotter. If you want that fast, heavy stuff, No Son of Mine. But there's like everything in between throughout the album. So check
And
it
then in
out.
between it all, Greg Kirsten.
We may be hearing from him more. We will find out.
Maybe. But speaking of hearing from him more, one more to go, one more Foo Fighters album. But Here We Are is next. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with that one pretty soon.
We shall. You know what? Once again, saving it for the end, my band shirt. And I
Oh
thought
yes.
I thought this would be very fitting for this album, but I wore B-52s.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? And Dave even like brings up them as an influence. He says, I remember seeing the B-52s on Saturday Night Live, and this introduced me to the world of weird music. Love that he specifically said that.
Nice.
Um, yeah, he said they definitely opened up a whole new world to me. And yeah, just going like on the fact that it's like the older, like unique and different music. I was like, hey, if there's a unique and different album by the Foo Fighters, it's Medicine at Midnight. So
Yeah, it's definitely this one. So
had to sport the B-52 shirt.
nice.
So
Very good. A
yeah.
good placement there for sure.
Oh yeah.
All
But
right
yeah.
then. All right. Thanks again for listening. We will be back soon with our last Foo Fighters album. Then we got some more good stuff in store for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Stay tuned, especially for more impersonations from Kurt.
Feel free to add yours as well.
Oh, I will.
Hearing your Twilight Zone one, that was good. So
All right then. We'll see you guys next time.
have a good one.